Right, welcome to Project 4. We've now moved from the flat to the house, and now we can do some really fantastic projects. And the project that we're doing today is a fish pond. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be laying out the fish pond here. We're going to be marking it off, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. But the first process of doing a fish pond is to find the right location. So we picked this particular location here because no grass is growing here, and it's nice and open. It gives us a lot of time to put rockeries and all kinds of things that we want to put around the pond. So the first process of doing the fish pond is to mark it out, and we're going to be using this product from Spray On to do the marking out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go along my lines, just giving us an indication of where we have to mark out the pond. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and mark out the pond, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so now that we've marked out the pond, our next step is to see what we need to dig out the pond. And what we're going to be needing is we'll need a level. So I've got a level over here. You're going to be needing a shovel, and you're going to be needing a pick. And that's basically what we need now to dig out the pond. We'll show you why we need the level later. But basically now we're going to dig out the pond, and you do that like this. Right, so now I'm going to dig out the pond, and I'll get back with you later. Right, so now that I've dug out the pond, that'll be my last spade, and it was a nice workout. Our next step that we have to do is stamp down the pond so that the foundation is hard. And we're going to be doing that with the stumper that I purchased from Build It Bedfordview. So that's a stumper, and basically it's a hard piece of metal that compacts the ground. And the way you do it is you just go down to the ground, stump in the ground all over so that your foundation is nice and solid. I'm going to go ahead now and stump the whole ground, and then I'll come back to you with the next step. Right, so now that I've stumped my ground and I've compacted the soil, it's very important to do that because we want a nice hard foundation to work on. Another important factor is to get the ground level. That's why we put up this line level here, just to indicate that we are level, so that when we put our bricks around the perimeter, we know exactly where to go. So it's important to compact the ground, because otherwise when you put the water in, the water won't run level on the top of the pond. So that's really important. And now we're going to do our next step, and our next step is putting the lining in. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. Right, so now that we're at our next step, and we've put our matting into the pond here. So that's going to be our lining for the pond. And you'll see the lovely thickness of this particular matting. This matting comes from North Safety. It's a really beautiful matting. You can use it for a million different uses, as a trampoline, as a pond liner that we've used here inside your roof, for waterproofing and shade netting. There's just endless amounts of uses for this particular product, and I must say it's a beautiful thick matting. And it's 100% waterproof, unlike so many other matting on the market. And we've done it, and we basically lined the entire pond with it. You'll see that I've got a lot of creases in that, and that does take a lot of time to iron out those creases, to iron out your floor, making sure that the matting is nice and straight right around the pond. And then basically from there, our next step we're going to take these blocks and we're going to build a brick wall right around the pond, and then we're going to do the next step. We're going to show you how to waterproof the pond on top once we've cast our slab and laid our foundation of bricks. So I'll be with you in the next step after I've done that. Right, so now that we're at our next step with the pond, and we've gone ahead and we've plastered the walls here, we built the walls and we've plastered it. The only thing that left for us to do is the floor, and so we're going to now go and screed the floor, and we'll see you in the next step. Right, so now that we're at our next step, and our next step is to waterproof the pond. Right, so we've gone ahead and we've built the pond. We put the floor in, we put the walls on, and we basically screeded the whole entire surface. And we put some rocks around here and some flowers. We're starting to slowly establish our pond. But it's very important for us to waterproof the inside of the pond so that we can make sure that our pond is watertight. And we're going to be using a product from ABE today. So the product is called Duraflex. So this product is branded for Build It, but it's made by ABE. And it's a really great product in the fact that it's a cementitious product. And basically what that means is a powder product that we can apply to the concrete surface. And that'll make that particular surface less absorbent, and we start the process of waterproofing our screed, which we desperately need to do before we put on our final coat. So we're going to be doing a two-part process. One, we'll start with Duraflex. We're going to be doing 3 coats of Duraflex, waiting 16 hours between coats to dry. It's very important for the surface to not have any grease, dust before you perform that particular task. And then after that, we're going to follow that with a product called Super Lay Coat from ABE. It's really a flag star product. It's been around for years. So many people use that to do so many different applications of waterproofing. It's a bituminous product, and that gives you that nice rubberizing effect on the pond, is what we actually want to accomplish at the end. So basically the way you go about it is you're going to have a powder and what resembles a bonding liquid, but it's a special bonding liquid that has waterproofing capability in it. And it's very important to first add your bonding liquid. So we're going to go ahead and add our bonding liquid now. Right, so it's important to just pour a little bit of the bonding liquid into the bucket. I'm not going to pour it all in because I want to make sure that all my powder is lump free. So inside here is what you'll basically see is like a cement product here. It's a waterproofing cement product. It's a powder, and we're going to put a little bit of that powder in. And then it's very important for us to stir that so that we have no lumps in. So I'm going to go ahead now and stir this and make sure that I have no lumps in, and then we're going to start the next process. Right, so now that we've gone ahead and we've stirred our Duraflex, making sure that there's no lumps in it, I will say that this requires quite a long process of stirring. It's very important that you get all those lumps out. Obviously, if you guys have got a mechanical means like a drill with a paint stirrer on it, I would suggest using that. But we've done it this way in particular, just in case that person didn't have those particular means. So we've gone ahead and we stirred for quite a while, and now you'll see that we have this nice, I just want to take it up to the camera here so that you can see better. So now we've got this sort of cementitious, cement looking product, which is a nice slurry, and that's what we're going to use now to apply to our pond. It's very important that when you apply your first layer, make sure that you go the same direction with the brush. So in other words, if you're going across, you're going to go all the way across on the pond. So that after 16 hours when that dries, the second coat will go the opposite direction. In other words, vertical and then horizontal. So basically what you now just do is you dip your brush into the product and apply to the surface. And you'll see that you kind of feel like you're brushing on cement. It's a special waterproofing product, this. So it's very important to get in all those little crevices. In this particular pond, our plastering wasn't 100%, so you want to make sure that you fill all that indentation so that you don't have any place where there's a little gap, and so the water can get through there. And we're going to go ahead now and apply this product right around the pond. and then we'll show you the next step. Right, so now that we've completed our 2 coats of Duraflex, we basically, when we're done the application, we went horizontal with the brush, let it dry for 16 hours, and then we went vertical with the brush and let it dry for 16 hours. Basically putting our 2 coats onto the surface here. And what was super about this particular product is if we had a little bit of cracking, a little bit of indentation, the product helped to waterproof that area, sealing in those cracks, taking away a little bit of our blemish in the process, and it was just a really great product. It's been around for years, Duraflex. I've used this product extensively on bathrooms and balconies and so many different applications. And as a cementitious waterproofing, it's really got to be up there with the best. So this product from ABE, I would really like to give my Ginger Ninja seal of approval. It was a really great product, really done what we wanted it to do. And so now we're going to go on to our next application of waterproofing. And that is basically going to be our product also from ABE, which is Super Laycoat. So this is a bituminous product. It's made with bitumen, and therefore it is really a great product in rubberizing the pond. And that's what we need to do now. So we're going to go ahead now and apply the Super Laycoat to the surface. Basically, you clean your brushes with water. It's very important to clean your brushes immediately after the application with water, otherwise it's very difficult to clean. So this is just basically a nice rubberized sealing product that we're going to put on top. We're going to go ahead and do two applications of it, and then we're going to show you the before and after. So I'm going to go ahead now and apply that product. It's very important to stir this product. As with any product, make sure that you stirred it. We went ahead and stirred it so that we could save some time in the video. Okay, so you'll see that it's quite a rather browny product, and when the product does cure, it tends to go from brown to black, which is a really great product. So I'm going to go ahead and now and get a brush and show you how to do that. Right, so now what's very easy about Super Laycoat is you don't have to have much skills. Basically you just have to have a brush, and basically you just need to brush that coating onto the surface. So we're using this Everyman brush here. It's a 50mm brush, and that's from Academy. And the reason why I like to use a small brush opposed to a big brush is it allows you to get into that groove. It does take a bit more time, but I really like using a small brush in these particular applications, making sure that I get every single little corner nook, because once the water comes in, we want to make sure that the whole pond is waterproof so that we don't lose water. But it's totally up to you if you want to use a bigger brush. Just make sure that you do those 2 coatings going horizontal and vertical. We always do that with coatings so that the one backs up the other one in case there's a problem. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that application. Basically, you just dip your brush into the product, and we're going to go down. Or vertical. Make sure that we get every little nookie. So like I say, when applying the product, it's brown. And what's super about Super Laycoat is you kind of know when your product is dry, because it'll start to go a blackish color, telling you that, you know what, it's dry. Give it a nice liberal coat. Don't be selfish with the coat. Make sure that you get every single little area, nook, cranny that you need to do. And we're going to go ahead now and paint the whole pond with this on top of our Duraflex coat, and then we're going to show you the before and after. Right, so now that we've applied the first coat of the Super Laycoat from ABE, you'll see that we've got black spots and brown spots on the wall. And basically what that means is in an hour's time it'll all go black, and that means that it is touch dry. So it means if we touch the product, it's dry, but it's certainly not fully cured. It's only fully cured after 10 days on a normal application. But because we're doing a pond or a dam, it's best to wait 14 days according to the manufacturers for that to cure properly. And the reason for that is it's not a normal application upon the dam. Eventually water is going to be in it all the time, and therefore it's very important that product was fully cured before you go put the water into the pond, and then you have problems bubbling and flaking and all kinds of hassles. So that's very important, to go 14 days to a full cure. Right, so now that we've waited 14 days for our super lay coat to fully cure, our next step is to do the second coat, because obviously we've just done the first coat, and now we're going to do the second coat. So it's very important, like I said to you, we went up and down in a vertical motion with the first coat. And now with the second coat, we're going to go in a horizontal motion, which is basically across. So we're going to take the product, and now we're going to go totally across like that. Like I say, it's always important to do 2 different coats, 2 different ways. That way, if the one coat fails, you have another coat to back you up. And that's the reason why we go horizontal and vertical with waterproofing. And this will basically conclude on how to waterproof a pond. In our next episode, we're going to show you the accessories that we added to the pond and certain things that we've done. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you very much.